Where do you find God? Almost sounds like a loaded question, doesn't it? I mean, if God was someone you could find, wouldn't everyone be out searching? Well, rather than looking for something elusive, like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, I reckon it's more about learning to recognise the way God is already present to us in our everyday lives. I'm Lizzie Oakes, and this is Where Do You Find God? Donagh Booth is my guest today. She lives in the far south, in Invercargill, actually. Did I get that right?
Invercargill, yep.
Yeah, Invercargill. Very involved in her local community, being an advocate for vulnerable elderly, and also, along with her teen daughter, set up a community initiative called the Shoe Booth, which is all about setting up, providing free shoes, uniform and ball wear. I think in a better description of Donagh is that she is a community activist. Hi, Donagh. Does that resonate with you?
It does. It's quite funny hearing that word community, Lizzie, because part of where I find God is actually in this community. And I grew up in a really abusive type of situation and absolutely hated my region. I hated Invercargill, I hated Southland. And so I'd be having like panic attacks all the time. There are certain streets and suburbs I could never go to, or places. So I have been so transformed. Like, I lived in Auckland and that's where we met. And when I moved down, I cried from Auckland to Invercargill. Oh, that's how much I hated it.
Yeah.
And every time a plane flew over, I'm like, God, get me out of here, you know?
Yeah.
But what's happening for me now is that the community where I felt so vulnerable and so broken is totally healing me.
Wow.
And I'm just finding that I'm meeting with God, like the kindness and the outpouring of the community, especially around our charity, just brings me to tears on a daily basis.
How long have you been back there in Invercargill, Donagh?
It's been about 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, you know, I've got things like, if I asked for ice from Antarctica, I would have it. I had a young girl who was been involved with the Rape Crisis Centre, and they contacted me and said she desperately needs shoes. So I asked on my site. You know, she didn't just get shoes, she got a huge gift bag. A group of women got together and just blessed her, and it just these types of things completely, I just feel God. And I just feel the love of God all over it. And I'm loving my community. I love my community, and I've never been able to say that before. I feel I want to pour in as a legacy for this region, and I just feel honoured to be here. So it's just this huge turnaround in my life, and I just feel God all over it, and, you know, I feel him with me.
Yeah.
As a 5-year-old, I don't remember much of my childhood, but I totally remember being 5 at St. Patrick's, put my hand up and said, I want to be a missionary when I grow up and look after kids in need. And so that is kind of like been my calling. I was in New Orleans and I was in Dublin and I was in Wembley, so I went all across the world.
Yeah.
But now I'm home and I'm doing this with our young people. I'm seeing girls that cut themselves and, you know, getting them in gowns, and it just breaks my heart, really, but it allows me to love them.
Yeah.
And I feel God right in it. You know, I see young people where they can't ever go to the ball because there's no money, and in they come, and then in come their mums and their grandmums, and it's not just about a suit or a dress, it's about the whole community, and they get the photos. It's just a joy. And me and Madison are just often in tears. One young person, there's a school here, and it's a poorer school, and we've had loads I just love these kids. And I said to this young girl, I love you. It's so not PC. And she goes, you know, miss, everyone thinks we're losers. And I said, I don't. You know, we have these amazing moments just to love these young people. And I love it.
Yeah.
And I love speaking. I love giving them hugs. I love allowing them, especially young girls, their bodies and what colours suit. And, you know, it's so much more. And, yeah, it's just,
Donna, it sounds like a real story of redemption, that you once upon a time would have been a young girl there, feeling maybe uncomfortable in your body and whatever was going on in your world, and now there's this full circle where you've come back. But without going into all the details, you obviously have had some big encounter with God for you to have had that change, Donna. Like that's not natural. I'd call that supernatural.
Yeah, it totally is. I've had really incredible encounters with God and the Holy Spirit my whole journey. But for me, there was all this pain inside, you know, and I just couldn't shake it. Yeah. And I'd go up for every prayer and, you know, and so I ended up having some a program called Restoring the Foundations, a woman in Florida. And it was during that time, a few sessions. It was incredible. Jesus showed up big time.
Was that over Zoom?
Over Zoom. And the big key he showed me is that with all the abuse and everything, I'd felt worthless. And then Jesus showed up and gave me worth. And it has changed my life. And you know me, it's changed me.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word. It's been an absolute miracle. And he's given me my voice. When you're abused, you have no voice and you're hide and you're ashamed. And I'm completely, you can't shut me up now. You know, I'm on all these crazy boards about abuse and, you know, he's given me back my voice. And it's his voice, you know, and I can talk to these young ones and I can say, yeah, I understand. You know, I totally get it. You don't want to be at home and you go anywhere but, you know, to be at home. So I understand. And it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing.
To do what you do, where do you find God? You find God in the community, but for you to be to have the energy and the, you know, the sustenance, I guess, to do what you do, are there certain practices that you have where you find God, where you encounter God?
Yeah, in my dreams.
Wow.
Yeah. So in 2017, I went to Toronto and had an impartation. And I've had a lot of impartations, but my goodness, I had an impartation of dreams and visions. So whether I encounter God or he encounters me, but in my dreams, I'm telling you, things happen and I see them come to fruition.
Have you got an example of something?
Yeah, I do. I've got an amazing, just recently we had a pop-up shop with our shoes and the Mormons walked in. Well, I just lost it. I was full of so much joy. I had a dream. I was talking to Maddi and my friend. I had this dream and I just remembered the dream as the Mormons, young people walked in. And in this dream, God said, you're going to clothe the Mormons. So I'm buzzing. I get a real sense of buzz.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
God speaks to me, either for me, but for others,
so
even more. Actually.
So they walked into your shoe booth and you gave them some clothes, did you?
I gave them shoes. And there was one boy in particular, and I just said, and he looked at me and goes, who are you? I said, I'm Donna and I'm a Christian and this is all God's idea. And he said, well, that is awesome. And then it's quite humbling helping people with their feet because people have smelly feet, teenagers hate their toes. It's a real thing at the moment. People's shoes are falling apart. And I just looked at this kid and it was a real God thing. I said, this is just like Jesus when he cleaned the disciples' feet.
Wow.
And he just looked at me and it was just this incredible moment. And then he looked at me and said, Miss, I need suits for church. Have you got anything? And I said, I can have so many suits. You come and see me. It's amazing. Out of this world.
Yeah.
That just fills me right there.
And just in closing, this God that you find in community and you encounter him in your dreams, you and him communicate, and these dreams are coming to life, visions, I guess. What's this God like for you, Donagh?
Oh, he's my father. Yeah. He's taking care of me and he loves me. And he knows where I've come from and where I need healing, and he's just going for it. He's loving me to life.
Thank you, Donagh, for joining us today on Where Do You Find God? Just before you go, the shoe booth, etc., where do people find you?
So we're on Facebook. Just look up The Shoe Booth and you'll see some incredible footage of what we're doing.
Thanks, Donagh. If you'd like to listen again, tune into Star each Wednesday morning at 10:30 or listen and subscribe via your favourite podcast app and give us a review so others can find us.